Talking about these overtime rules that have been halted, is it a kind of a sigh of relief for some people in the small business community? Saladworks CEO Patrick Sugrue is here. Franchise ownership consultant is also here. Jania Bailey and Robert Maynard is here, founder and CEO of famous Toastery. So all three of you, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate it. Now, on the overtime rules, we had this ruling from a federal judge against the Obama administration on overtime rules. They wanted to expand the workers that were eligible. So, Patrick, let me start with you. Because in the business community, something like this, not having as many people eligible, obviously, would be a sigh of relief, right? What do you make of it?
Well, I think the fact is that it's a disruptive ruling by the Department of Labor, and ultimately what it does is it raises costs significantly. It basically doubles the cost of having management staff in your restaurant, which are so crucial to the success of the food and safety as well as customer service in a restaurant. And that's a big hit to a franchisee's P&L.
Yeah, when you think about it, it would be for your profit and loss. You think about it from the perspective of somebody watching and saying, well, you know, you want to get paid overtime if you're working. The rules and the way they're constructed, Jan, is that you have somebody automatically qualifying for overtime pay under these new, the way it was being proposed, if it's at $47,476. Now, previously, the salary level had been $23,000. So to Patrick's point, just a little over 23,000. But to Patrick's point, there's a lot more people that would have been eligible, right? So.
It was very disruptive in trying to figure your budget for the next year and what we're going to do.
Right.
And it actually could be a detriment to some of the young people that are trying to stand out and show themselves as doing more. Now you've got to tell them, no, you can't,
right,
because it's going to penalize the company.
Yep,
exactly.
We're going to be forced to pay you this. We don't have the money to pay you this. So you know what? Why don't you cut out early instead of doing that extra project that you might have want to work it on? I mean, is that true, Robert? That this is like the minimum wage discussion we have in terms of everything in economics and in small business and business in general comes down right to incentives. And are we getting the incentives right here? Maybe the Trump administration, for example, comes in with a new number and finds a middle ground between 23 and 46 somewhere.
Well, that's the great point. We went from 23 and change to now 40-something and change, and in 2020, it's looking like it's going to be 51,000.
Yeah.
So we can't go from one extreme to another.
Well, it was like minimum wage, $7 to 15. Maybe it's 9 or 10. It's tough to manage that, right?
Well, correct. And from a business owner, famous Toastery, we're not worried about as much minimum wage as we are maximum wage, because I think that's the problem. We go to Emeryville, California, where the minimum wage is $16 an hour. In 2020, it can be $19, $20 an hour. How do you build a P&L on that for a business? And I think politicians forget P&L stands for profit and loss, not politics and loss. And I think they need to do more.
Exactly.
Yeah, they need to do more research on that, because we're left here holding the bag, and there's a lot of threats in this business, especially in the franchise model.
It's interesting to talk to business owners, and whether it's your model, the franchise model, or just straight up small business, and get their perspective on something that does, Patrick, get so politicized. How's your planning going out the next few years? Now that maybe you were surprised, like a lot of people, that Donald Trump won, have you changed things? I mean, how are you planning for this new administration?
I think, Connell, the markets have spoken, that business feels like the environment is going to be more conducive to business growth. And,
right. Lower taxes,
and frankly, representing, well, but also less regulation. And the key is, our Saladworks franchisees put on a significant capital investment to build a business. And what they need is access to financial and human capital, and they need to have some consistency in terms of what the rules are.
Are you willing to invest and spend more, considering what, Patrick, on the environment that we're in, you're more comfortable doing that now? Is that what you're essentially saying, or no?
Yes, business needs to know what the rules are and what the landscape is, and with that certainty, again, you can make decisions that are relevant for growth. And our franchisees at Saladworks have the opportunity to make the capital investments in technology, which is so crucial today,
right,
and remodeling their stores to be more relevant for consumers' occasions today.
You seem, Jana, like you were kind of nodding along with what Patrick's saying.
Yes, what we do at Frannet is we're working with people that want to buy into franchises, and it's been very difficult to be excited as one of those prospective franchise owners when you don't know what the rules are going to be. And I think that's what we've been saying all along as an industry. Just make sure the rules are fair, and let's have a level playing field so we know what we're dealing with.
Right. Final thing, Robert, most important item that you're thinking about with the incoming administration is what that you'd like to know?
Well, it's more of what I feel has come down a little bit. As we've seen, the markets have spoken. I mean, we're up to our 8th high now. We've had 4 specific threats in franchising, and we're starting to see them now come down a little bit more with the NLRB, possibly moving away from overtime being stopped, minimum wage, all these things that are very, very detrimental to our business and growth and to profits. We're seeing that maybe there's a little bit of hope for people to move forward and feel a little bit more safe moving forward in what they're doing, whether it's franchising, small business, anything. Small business is 67% of the jobs in this country, so you really need to get it right.
Thanks, guys. Robert, Jania, Patrick, we appreciate all 3 of you coming on for us. We're going to